my name is Megan and this is my SUV camper. I built it myself 2 years ago now and I'm going to give you an updated tour. You know, kitchen, bathroom, living room, electrical system, all the other things. I've actually since written a guide on how I built this. It does include all the dimensions, the cost of the build, and just kind of how I navigated it as a first-time camper builder. So if you're interested in that kind of detail, you can check that out in the description below. And if not, just stay tuned because this is honestly going to be pretty detailed. This is what I'd consider my front door to my home. This is intentionally left clear so that I can use it as a little foyer, I guess. But it also extends so that when I'm sleeping, I have a full-length bed, or 80 inches. To extend the bed, I have a little piece of plywood that isn't a perfect fit. I should probably recut it, but I use these little ledges here to set the plywood onto. Usually I have this extra cushion sitting right here, and then I pop it down, take my folded under sheets. I have extra blanket folded underneath. The mattress itself is a 4-inch foam IKEA mattress. The pillow is actually a sleeping bag because I had nowhere to put it at the time, and it's actually pretty comfy. I have this extra cushion. I have another one like this and more extension pieces to make this into an even wider bed because when I was building it, my friend was actually going to come travel with me for a week. So I needed enough space to fit 2 people. But I must say, it's a real pain because I'm a very amateur builder and it scratches the paint. I don't even know if I can do it. There we go. Oh, it'd be something like that. The downside to this is I can't access any of the storage. So while I thought I might actually use this for myself to have a nice, comfy, big bed for me, I never did it because it just wasn't practical. I still keep the pieces just in case someone wants to come camp with me. One of my priorities when making the build was I wanted to be able to access everything while inside the vehicle in case I wasn't in a situation where I wanted to exit the vehicle and I needed something, whether it was for safety or weather. So I have a lot of storage underneath here. Of course, you can see that there is a drawer. I got the idea from someone else to make it also function as a little table. Oh my gosh. I can't get it out. If in case I didn't want to have to open this back hatch up, I can also lift the mattress. Typically when I'm traveling alone, I don't have these here because this kind of defeats the whole purpose. If I did, I could lift them too. And then these are Velcroed. I can get what I need. That was obviously not the easiest thing, but it's for function, not ease. In total, I have 3 different storage compartments. For the ease, I have this storage. And here is where I'd keep most of my clothes. And here, I have a lot of toiletries and just odds and ends. In here, I'd have more clothes and some kitchen stuff. And this one was kind of my little pantry, so stuff like coffee. This is my coffee maker. One of my stoves, it only boils water, but it's very fast, so mostly using it for coffee. There's also a divider right in between these 2 cabinets, which is great to put a cutting board or just anything that's slim. When I move around inside the vehicle, I'm mostly just scooching on my butt. This is my version of standing up in here, if I were to, for some reason, want to do that. And this drawer is where I'd have all of my kitchen utensils, forks, plates, bowls, stuff like that. This is my kitchen cooking stove. For most things, it's just a butane stove. And for the most part, I'm okay with having a single burner, but sometimes it can be harder to cook in here. And I just make sure to have all of my windows open or pretty darn close because it is not safe to use this indoors. I also custom build this camper for all the products I knew I'd be using, such as this. So the cabinet that holds this literally only fits it in one direction, and if this is upside down. Another little thing I have on my cabinet here is this, which I kind of just Velcroed to after, and oh, it's actually my light inside. This one's dead right now, but it's a USB rechargeable. It dims, it comes on and off. I can show you in another clip. This is my sink. It has running water and a little gray water tank underneath. For the kitchen side of plumbing, I have two 6-gallon jugs. One is a fresh water and one is a gray water. I'd say the 6 gallons of fresh water last me at least 3 days, maybe even up to 5, depending on what I'm cooking and if I'm like going to the gym and filling up my water bottle there or filling it out of the sink here. Overall, I try to be very efficient with my use of water, especially when doing dishes. It's a quick tap on and off of the water faucet. This is a 50-liter fridge from Iceco. Of course, there's a lot of factors that go into how long a fridge this size could last you in terms of food, but for me, I'd say about 3 to 5 days. A question that I get a lot is about toilets. There's a lot of options. This one I actually got from a thrift store. It had a piece of tape on it that said that it's never been used, so that made me feel a little bit better, but typically they're like over $100 and this was $15, so I had to get it. It was the first thing I ever bought for my camper, and like I said, I designed this to fit everything very precisely, so I made this cabinet to the dimensions of the toilet. What I did not do was make this hallway big enough for it to come out. There's definitely some modifications that could probably be made, or if I were to just get a different toilet, there's options, but I can get it out. But there's not really a big spot to put it, unless I put it up here. This type of toilet is called a cassette toilet, so there's 2 different compartments. One fills with water, and then you can put like a sort of deodorizer in it, and then the top is like the toilet part. It's definitely very cumbersome for this size of camper. I only use it when I'm in a situation that there's no public washroom available throughout the night. It's always an uncomfortable situation to bring up on the internet, but there you have it. This is a 2006 GMC Yukon, basically the same as a Chevy Tahoe. I bought it, I think, for $10,500. It was in that sort of like crazy car marketplace time of year, so it wasn't the best price, maybe? I don't know, you tell me. Did I get screwed? Maybe. It had 163,000 kilometers, and I've put an additional 30,000 on it, which, you know, pretty average, I'd say. Gas-wise, it sucks. I think today it said it was taking 18 liters per 100 kilometers. Sorry, I'm Canadian, so I'll put the USian version on the screen for you. I also loved about it was that it's 4-wheel drive. As a solo female traveler, I did not want to get stuck anywhere. I was just like super scared of stuff hitting the bottom, so I liked that there's some high clearance here. Another recent update I've made is my Kumo Road Venture AT52 tires. They are the sponsor of today's video, so thank you, Kumo. The Kumo Road Venture AT52 tires are made for off-road performance, but they're also balanced to go down the highway smoothly, comfortably. So this is, I think, the perfect road trip tire. I'm so happy to have these. They're covered in mud because I came down this ridiculous hill, and I just love how confidently I was able to come down here. I'm a solo female traveler. I need to have trust in my ability to get somewhere safely. So I'm so happy to have added these to the Yukon, and so that they can continue to have wonderful adventures with me. If I'm somewhere that I require some privacy while I'm sleeping, which I used to always put these up every night, but now sometimes if I'm in a place more private or nature-esque like this, sometimes I just keep them off. When I'm ready for bed, I put these in. I used a tutorial on YouTube, I think from PSC Camper Conversion, something like that. I'll leave it linked in the description box below. They're great window covers. They're very sturdy, and I honestly do think they make a difference in terms of insulation, which a lot of times when people use different combinations of Reflectix and fabric or tape, people have a lot of debates on whether they actually work, because Reflectix is a radiant insulation and needs air gaps in between, which is basically what this design is based on. There is 2 layers of Reflectix sandwiched over a piece of corrugated plastic, which is meant to be the air gap, and that's it. It's all glued together. It's a little Reflectix sandwich. There's enough space in between the door and the bed for me to slide them in between. See, at the front of the vehicle, I have a curtain. If I were actually going to bed, I'd probably try to make it look a little bit more tidy so that if someone's looking in from the front of the vehicle, it's more of a smooth black and just looks like an empty car. I have a couple ways of keeping my electronics topped up. I have a house battery system that's charged by solar panels on the roof, as well as alternator charging, which I can show you more of that under the hood in a second. But first, I'll show you this utility cabinet. I have an entire video on the electrical system with a whole breakdown with the electrician, who is also my now fiance, who helped me do all of this. I have a 125 amp hour battery here, a inverter, I believe this is 1000 watt, and then a charge controller for the solar. We used a ratchet strap to keep it in here safely because this is not something that you want to go flying if something bad were to happen. That red cable there is an extension cord that we modified and ran under through the paneling to run all the way to the back where I have a little plug. While we're here anyways, this is where I keep my shoes. If we go under the hood here, I can show you the isolator that we use to basically make sure that the house battery doesn't steal from the car battery and the alternator can still charge both while I drive. This blue thing is what keeps everything separated. That inlet there is how it enters the vehicle. The solar is up here, of course. And there's basically no room up here on the roof rack except for the Thule and the solar panel. Well, I think that just about covers all of it, but if you have any more questions, please leave them down below. I'm happy to answer them as best as I can. I'm honestly so proud of this rig that I built. I did not have a lot of experience doing it, but I was very, very committed to the idea, and it's served me well. We've had some great memories together. It's been a perfect rig for a solo traveler, especially someone who is 5'5", and fits quite nicely in there. It's very spacious. I've learned so much in the 2 years that I've been on the road with it, and honestly, if you're thinking about doing something similar, the best way to learn is to just get after it, watch some more YouTube videos, and just try. With that, I'm going to say good night, have a nice day, whatever time it is for you. Thank you so much for watching, thank you for being here, and thank you Kumo Tire for setting me up with these awesome tires and sponsoring today's video.